My beloved child, let your heart grow still and listen to my voice, gently calling your name in the midst of the noise of this life. There are days when you feel as though you are walking alone through a land covered with stones, beneath a sky painted in cold shades of gray. Your shoulders weighed down by burdens you cannot even put into words. Yet even in those moments, my eyes have never turned away from you. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. As written in Psalm 23:4. Do you see? My presence does not depend on how you feel. When you are strong, I am there. When you are exhausted to the point of wanting to give up, I am still there. My love does not come and go like the waves of the sea, but stands firm like the deep rock beneath your feet, lifting you even when you do not realize you are being held up. Perhaps many times you have wondered why trials keep finding their way into your life, why the winds seem to rise even stronger just when your heart begins to touch a little peace. But my child, do not look at hardship as a sign of abandonment. The souls who carry light are often the ones who must pass through the deepest seasons of refining. A seed resting in dark soil is not forgotten. It is preparing for the day it will rise into a mighty tree. I am doing the same work within you. I do not see you the way the world sees you. The world measures worth by success, praise, and passing things. But I look into the deepest part of your soul, where I have placed kindness, gentleness, and the ability to bring life to others. Because you carry something precious within you, adversity cannot simply pass you by. For every trial is helping awaken the divine strength I placed inside you from the very beginning. Remember the story of Joseph, but not when he stood in the glory of Pharaoh's palace in Egypt. I want you to remember the season when he was forgotten in the prison, where no one could see his gift or his dignity. Perhaps there were nights when Joseph wondered whether the dream I had given him was ever truly meant for him. Yet it was in that dark place that his faithfulness was refined like pure gold. He did not allow bitterness to harden his heart. He still chose to help others, still chose hope, still chose to believe that I was not finished writing the story of his life. Then, at the appointed time, a door opened that no one could shut. My beloved child, I am teaching you in the same way. There are seasons when I do not immediately remove the trial from your life, because I am creating within you a depth that ease could never produce. After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast, as written in 1 Peter 5:10. So do not think your tears are meaningless. Not a single quiet prayer falls unheard before me. And there will come a day when you look back on the winding roads behind you and realize that what seemed to hinder you was actually drawing you closer to me. Some doors were closed to protect you from places that did not belong to your destiny. Some delays were not meant to disappoint you, but to keep you from stepping into a season before its appointed time. You often see only a small fragment of the picture, while I see the whole journey of your life. Therefore, when you cannot understand what is happening, learn to rest in my guidance. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. As written in Proverbs 3:5, faith is not when you understand everything. Faith is when you continue walking, even though you cannot yet see the entire road ahead. And now, I want you to understand something even deeper. Trials do not come to take away the light within you, but to make that light shine more brightly. A lamp is truly noticed only when darkness falls. I have called you to become a bearer of warmth to weary souls, a gentle voice in the midst of a chaotic world, a sower of hope in places where faith seems to have run dry. Do not underestimate what I have placed within you. You may still feel small today, but I often use humble things to accomplish great purposes. Remember David, when he was only a shepherd boy in the fields. No one believed he was capable of standing before Goliath. Yet I saw within him a heart that trusted me more than swords or armor. And it was that faith that brought victory. In the same way, what will carry you through is not merely your own strength, but the knowledge of whose hand is holding yours in the midst of the battle. So, my beloved child, do not close your heart when weariness comes. Do not allow temporary disappointments to make you forget your true identity. You were not created to live in fear or despair. You were created to walk in my light, to let your heart become a dwelling place for peace. Even now, I am quietly renewing your soul. I am placing within you a steadfastness that no storm can steal away. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. As written in Isaiah 40:31. Therefore, lift up your head. Let hope come alive again within you. What I have begun in you, I will not leave unfinished. One day, when you stand in the harvest season of your life, you will understand why I did not allow you to give up halfway through the journey. You will see how every wound became a place where light could shine through. You will realize that the moments you believed you were weakest were often the moments when I was closest to you. And you will come to understand that everything I allowed was guiding you nearer to the beautiful purpose I had prepared for you all along. So today, before you step into the days ahead, let this truth anchor itself deeply within your heart. You are not lost in this vast world. You belong to me. My hands are still holding you, and no storm is powerful enough to steal you away from my everlasting love. My beloved child, do not let days filled with fierce winds make you think that I have moved far away from you or forgotten the promises I once placed over your life. There are times when you look around and wonder why pressures keep surrounding you, why your mind must walk through silent battles that no one else can see. But I want you to understand this profound truth. Darkness does not come because you are without value, but because you carry something precious that heaven planted within you from the very beginning. A small light in the night will always be more noticeable than the darkness surrounding it. In the same way, a soul that carries light will always pass through seasons of testing. Yet do not be afraid, for the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As written in John 9:5, what I have placed within you cannot be extinguished simply because storms rise along the journey. I did not call you to live in constant tension, endlessly trying to prove yourself to the world. I did not create you to chase human approval while losing the peace of your soul. What I desire is for you to learn how to rest in my love, like a child laying their head upon their father's chest, no longer frightened by the sound of thunder outside. When your heart abides in me, you will no longer be swept away by every voice of anxiety. You will know that your worth is not determined by how others see you, but by the fact that I have called your name with everlasting love. I have called you by name, you are mine, as written in Isaiah 43:1. And when you truly believe this, a deep and abiding peace will cover your mind like a quiet river flowing through dry land. Remember the story of Esther, before she entered the palace and became the one who would save her people. She was an orphan girl, living quietly among the exiles. No one would have imagined that such a humble young woman carried within her a destiny so great. But I saw what others could not see. I led her through hidden seasons of preparation, where gentleness, wisdom, and courage were being formed little by little within her. Then the day of testing arrived, and it was the beauty of Esther's character that shone brightly in the midst of danger. Had she lived only to protect her own safety, she would never have stepped into the purpose I had prepared for her life. But she chose to trust me more than her fear. My beloved child, I am doing the same work within you. The pressures you are facing are not meant to crush you, but to reveal the divine beauty I have long hidden within your soul. Therefore, do not see trials as signs of failure, A goldsmith does not place gold into the fire because he hates it, but because he desires to remove whatever prevents it from reflecting light in its fullness. In the same way, I do not allow you to walk through difficult seasons because I desire your pain. I am refining your heart from invisible fears, from quiet doubts, from burdens you have carried for far too long. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. As written in Isaiah 43:2. Do you see? I never promised that you would never walk through deep waters, but I did promise that you would not drown in them. And now, I want you to learn how to live according to the rhythm of peace rather than the rhythm of panic. There are doors that require you to step forward with courage, but there are also moments when you must pause and listen to my whisper. A wise gardener does not force flowers to bloom in the middle of winter. He understands that every season carries its own purpose. The season of planting is different from the season of pruning, and the season of waiting is no less sacred than the season of harvest. In the same way, do not rush your journey. There are things I am quietly doing beneath the surface that your eyes cannot yet see. Roots always grow deep into the earth before branches can stretch high toward the heavens. If I am keeping you in a quiet season, it is not because I have forgotten you, but because I am strengthening the foundation within you. My child, do not lose the softness of your heart simply because you have been hurt a few times. Do not let the coldness of the world make you forget that you were created to love and to shine. The goodness within you is not weakness. It is the mark of heaven upon your life. A flower does not stop releasing its fragrance simply because someone has stepped upon its petals. In the same way, do not stop being gentle simply because you have been misunderstood. I am teaching you a strength different from the strength of this world, the strength of peace, of kindness, of one who can stand firm without needing to wound others in order to prove their power. And there will come a day when you look back and understand that even the trials that once brought you to tears became the very soil that nurtured your soul into maturity. The things that once seemed to stand against you will become the ground where your finest fruits were planted and grown. And we know that, in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him. As written in Romans 8:28, I am causing even the difficult things to serve the beautiful purpose over your life. Therefore, do not fear the future. Do not allow your mind to be covered by dark assumptions. Keep walking forward each day with a gentle yet steadfast faith. I am still walking beside you. I am still holding your soul in my hands. And no trial is great enough to stop the good things I have destined to bloom in your life in their proper season and at the appointed time. My beloved child, in the midst of this world that is always moving in haste, I want you to learn again the peaceful rhythm of your soul. There are times when you run through the days so quickly that your heart can no longer clearly hear the gentle whisper I have placed deep within your spirit. So today, I tenderly call you to slow down a little, not so you may fall behind, but so you may recognize the sacred things that are quietly blooming around you. Take a deep breath and let your heart grow still like a calm lake after a strong wind has passed. It is in that stillness that you will hear the heartbeat of the Holy Spirit guiding each of your steps. Be still and know that I am God. As written in Psalm 46:10, there are many things I do not speak through thunder or noise, but through the tender peace that enters your soul like morning light touching a field still covered in dew. I am drawing you closer to relationships chosen by the love and wisdom of heaven. Not everyone who passes through your life is assigned to remain for a long time. Some people only pass by to teach you a lesson. But there are also souls I send to become good soil that nourishes faith and hope within you. They will not pull you away from the light, but will help you remember who you truly are. A word of encouragement at the right moment. A compassionate gaze. A sincere presence can become cool, water poured over the inner garden that needs to come alive again. Therefore, do not take lightly the small things I send each day. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. As written in Proverbs 27:17, I use love through sincere people to heal many hidden corners of your heart that even you may not yet recognize. At the same time, I am also teaching you to let go of the things that make your soul heavy and restless. There are habits that quietly wear out your heart, fill your thoughts with noise, and steal the clarity of your soul. I do not condemn you for those moments of weakness, but I am inviting you to step out of them and into a wider place of freedom. Do not fear the silence when I remove a few familiar things from your life. A wise gardener knows how to prune away unnecessary branches so that the life within the tree can flow more strongly into the parts that will bear fruit. I am caring for your life in the same way. Each time you choose prayer instead of despair, kindness instead of bitterness, truth instead of deception, you are watering the seed of heaven within you so it may grow stronger. Remember the story of the prophet Elijah after the great victory on Mount Carmel. After facing the crowd and witnessing fire fall from heaven, he still reached a moment of exhaustion and wanted to run away into the wilderness. But I did not punish him for that weakness. I let him rest, sent an angel to bring him bread and water, and then led him to Mount Horeb. And when Elijah sought me, I did not appear in the violent wind, nor in the earthquake or the great fire, but in a gentle whisper. Do you see? Many times your soul also needs to be drawn away from the noise of chaos, so you can recognize that I am still very near. There are seasons when I do not immediately do something great before your eyes, because I am restoring the deepest part of your heart through holy stillness. My child, do not fear the days when you feel as though you are in the refining fire. A goldsmith does not take his eyes off the gold when he places it into the flame. He sits patiently beside it, watching every movement until the surface of the gold clearly reflects his own face. I am doing the same within you. The pressures you pass through are not meant to burn you away, but to remove what has been covering the true light inside you. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. As written in Malachi 3:3, every tear you quietly wipe away. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of holding on to resentment. Every time you keep your heart tender in a cold world, all of it is making your soul purer and more radiant. And then, through that process, you begin to realize something wondrous. Peace no longer depends on outward circumstances. It becomes a river flowing from within you. You will know when to speak and when to remain silent. You will no longer react out of fear, but act with the clarity guided by the Holy Spirit. The peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. As written in Philippians 4:7, that peace is like a light cloak resting over your mind, keeping you steady amid the many chaotic signals of life. I call you a child of light not because you have never walked through darkness, but because even in the midst of darkness, you still chose to hold on to the light within your heart. There are people out there in despair who will find in you a place of rest, not because you are perfect, but because your life carries the gentleness and hope that come from me. When you allow my love to move naturally through you, every gift within you will come into harmony like instruments in a great symphony. No longer will there be chaos within your soul, but a deep unity between faith, gratitude, and love. Therefore, my beloved child, continue caring for the garden within your heart through simple yet sincere things. A prayer whispered in the quiet of the night, a smile offered to someone who is weary, a heart that knows how to give thanks for a small meal or the first sunlight of the morning. All of these are fragrances pleasing to heaven. Then you will begin to see that each day is no longer a burden to survive, but a new springtime unfolding within your soul. And even trials will become like gentle rain, not destroying your garden, but helping the fruit within you grow richer in fragrance and more radiant beneath my eternal light. My beloved child, there are roads ahead of you that seem steeper than your strength can bear. Unexpected turns that leave your heart confused and your steps slower than before. But I want you to hear my voice clearly in this very moment. These things are not a sentence against you, nor are they signs that I have grown distant or am punishing you. Some hills I allow to rise before you not to exhaust you, but to strengthen the legs of your faith. Some winding roads are not meant to make you lost, but to teach you how to lean upon my guidance instead of relying only on your limited sight. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As written in Psalm 119:105, you do not need to see the entire road in order to keep walking. You only need my light for the next step, and a heart soft enough to follow where I lead. I do not lead you through trials like a cold judge placing burdens upon the shoulders of the weary. I lead you as a father bending down to hold the hand of his child, patiently teaching them how to walk through unfamiliar ground. Every hardship, if seen through the eyes of faith, will no longer look like a sealed wall, but like a doorway, inviting you deeper into maturity. I know there are days when you want to choose the easier road, to avoid the opposing winds, to find peace without having to change anything within yourself. But my beloved child, there is a kind of peace that only appears after you have learned to stand firm in the midst of the waves. There is a wisdom that can only be born when you dare to ask me in the darkness, Father, what do you want me to learn here? And when you ask that question, your heart has already begun opening itself to life. Remember Peter on the stormy sea when he saw me walking upon the water. Many remained in the boat because of fear. But Peter heard the call, "Come." That word did not immediately calm the waves, nor did it turn the sea into solid ground. But it was enough for him to step out from what was familiar. Do you see? Sometimes I do not remove the circumstance first and then ask you to trust me. I ask you to trust me in the middle of the circumstance, so you may discover that my power is greater than the waters trembling beneath your feet. When Peter took his eyes off me and looked at the wind, he began to sink. Yet the moment he cried out, I immediately stretched out my hand and caught him. My beloved child, even when your faith grows weak along the journey, I will not let you drown. I am not ashamed of your cry for help. I hear it as the voice of a child reaching back toward the arms of their father. Therefore, do not call the trial an ending when I am using it as an invitation. I am inviting you out of the whirlpool of fear, out of the thoughts that make you shrink yourself smaller, out of the habit of looking at the future through anxious eyes. Fear always speaks the loudest when you forget that I am present. But when you remember that I am the light of your life, darkness no longer has the power to define you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. As written in 2 Timothy 1:7, you were not created to be led by fear. You were created to walk in light, in wisdom, in a faith that is gentle yet enduring. Perhaps today you still do not understand why your path must climb such steep hills, why I did not open an easier road, why that door closed even after you prayed so earnestly for it to remain open. But I see what you cannot yet see. I see strength being formed every time you choose perseverance. I see your kindness being refined through seasons of misunderstanding. I see your wings growing stronger each time you pass through a new layer of wind. A young bird does not learn to fly by remaining forever in the safety of the nest. It learns to fly when it is lifted into the open sky, where the wind becomes both the challenge and the force that carries it upward. In the same way, the very thing that makes you tremble today may become the thing that teaches you how to soar tomorrow. And when you begin to look at trials through the eyes of hope, your heart will rediscover the rhythm of peace. Not because every wave outside has fallen silent, but because deep within you there is now a place that knows it belongs to me. My peace is not fragile like human emotions. It is a refuge for the soul that knows how to return home. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. As written in John 14:27. This is not the kind of peace the world gives and then takes away according to circumstances. It is a peace that stands firm in the night, shines through the rain, and remains gentle without ever being weak. So, my beloved child, when you see a new road opening before you with many unknown things ahead, do not step back in fear. Place your hand in mine. Let me teach you how to walk slowly yet steadily, how to breathe deeply in faith, how to hear my voice in the midst of chaotic sounds. Every trial can become a small altar where you surrender your worries and receive courage in return. Every turn in the road can become a meeting place where you discover another beautiful facet of my faithful love. And every mountain, no matter how high it may seem, can never rise higher than the grace that is holding you up. One day, when you stand upon the height that today you are still afraid to climb, you will look back and understand that I never abandoned you in the valley. I went ahead of you to prepare the way, walked beside you to strengthen you, and stood behind you to protect you from dangers you could not see. Then you will realize that the trial did not break your wings. It only taught you that those wings were created to fly across a sky far greater than you once imagined. Therefore, keep moving forward. My beloved child, the light is with you. I am waiting for you in every step, not only at the end of the road, but within the journey itself, with outstretched hands and a heart overflowing with everlasting love. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. Nothing touches your life without first passing through my loving hands. There are days when trials appear like sudden storms, like rough roads that leave your feet weary. But I want you to know that behind everything I allow, there is a deeper purpose quietly at work. I do not cast you into hardship just to watch you suffer. I do not delight in seeing your tears fall. On the contrary, I am very near in every moment of weakness. Like a father sitting beside his child in the middle of a long night, gently placing his hand upon their shoulder to give them strength. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. As written in Romans 8:28. And even when you cannot fully understand the road before you, that promise is still quietly sustaining your soul. You often see only the roughness of the trial, but I see the precious jewel being formed within you. A gemstone must endure patient refinement before it can shine brilliantly. In the same way, there are things I am shaping within your heart that ease could never produce. True gentleness is often born after seasons when you were wounded, yet still chose to love. Deep kindness often grows within those who have walked through loneliness, but refuse to let their hearts become cold. Steadfast faith is often built through nights when you could not see the light, yet still chose to believe that I was there. Therefore, do not despise the difficult seasons of your life. They may become the very places I use to create eternal beauty within you. Remember the story of Joshua when he stood before the Jordan River. Before him flowed the rushing waters, and behind him stood an entire people waiting to be led into the promised land. I did not part the waters first and then ask them to move forward. I waited for the priests to step into the river in faith, and only when they obeyed did the waters open a path before them. Do you see? Many times I work in the same way within your life. I do not always show you the entire miracle at the beginning. I invite you to walk in faith first, and only afterward do you realize that the door had already begun opening before you. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. As written in Joshua 1:9, what keeps you standing firm is not the certainty of knowing how everything will unfold, but the certainty of knowing who is walking beside you. Therefore, when trials come, do not ask only, "How can I escape this?" learn to ask me another question as well. Father, what are you forming within me through this season? That question will begin opening the eyes of your spirit to see things you never noticed before. You will begin to discern the difference between what merely sparkles for a moment and what carries eternal value. There are things the world calls success that still leave the soul empty. And there are things that appear small in human eyes, yet are exceedingly precious before me. A heart that knows how to forgive. A soul that remains pure in the midst of chaos. A person who stays gentle even after being wounded. As you walk with me through every season, your vision will gradually change. You will no longer measure your life only by outward results, but by how much love and light are growing within you. I am calling you to become a bearer of light in this weary world. Not the light of self-display or the pursuit of praise, but a quiet light, strong enough to warm the cold hearts around you. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. As written in Matthew 5:14, my beloved child, there will be people who find hope simply because they witness the way you pass through storms without losing your peace. There will be people who learn to trust again because they see you preserving kindness even in difficult days. What I am doing within you is not only for your own sake. It will become a lamp guiding those who are wandering through the darkness of the night. But for that light to shine more clearly, you must learn how to let go of fear. Fear always tries to make you shrink back, making you believe that if you open your heart to trust me, you will only be hurt again. But my child, light is never born by hiding in darkness. Every time you choose hope instead of despair, forgiveness instead of bitterness, peace instead of panic, your soul grows stronger within me. Spiritual maturity does not come from never stumbling, but from choosing, after every moment of weakness, to return to the light instead of remaining in the darkness. There are things today that you still cannot fully understand. But the day will come when you look back and realize that the very trials that once brought you to tears were the places where I taught you to love more deeply, trust more boldly, and walk more closely with me. Then you will no longer see hardship as an enemy, but as a quiet teacher leading you into deeper wisdom. You will understand that wisdom does not come from avoiding storms, but from learning how to walk with me through them. So today, my beloved child, continue walking in the light. Do not let fear decide your future. Do not allow negative voices to overshadow the words I am speaking over your life. Keep your heart tender, keep your mind pure, and keep your eyes fixed on me. I am still leading you. I am still working all things together for the good of your soul. And day by day, the light within you will continue to grow until not only your own life is transformed, but even those who encounter you will begin to recognize the fragrance of heaven flowing through your words, your steps, and the peaceful rhythm of your heart, my beloved child. There are days when you stand before many paths, your heart filled with questions that seem to have no answers. You look ahead without knowing which road is the right one, which door you should enter, or what you should hold on to and what you should release. But I want you to understand that I have never asked you to see the entire journey before taking the next step. What I desire from you is not perfect understanding, but a heart that knows how to listen for my voice among the countless sounds of life. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. As written in Proverbs 3:5, when you learn to place your trust in me, the crossroads that once frightened you will gradually become places where you encounter the gentle guidance of heaven. I often do not lead you through thunderous voices or signs that amaze the whole world. Many times I guide you through a very gentle prompting within your spirit, a sense of peace when you choose what is right, or a quiet uneasiness when you are about to step into a place that does not belong to you. Therefore, My child, learn how to quiet the noise within your heart so you may recognize the voice of the Holy Spirit. There are decisions that may appear very small, yet they carry tremendous influence over the course of your life. A prayer whispered in the morning before the day begins may save you from rushed and careless choices. A moment when you restrain your anger and answer with gentleness may preserve a relationship from breaking apart. A single pause to ask me before taking action may spare you from many unnecessary wounds. Do not underestimate those small things, for it is within the small things that the direction of an entire life is being shaped. Remember the story of Naaman, the powerful commander who carried the terrible disease of leprosy. When he came to the prophet Elisha seeking healing, he expected a great miracle, a dramatic display of power. But instead, I instructed him simply to go down to the Jordan River and wash 7 times. At first, his pride made him angry because he believed something so simple could not possibly bring healing. Yet it was only when he humbled himself in obedience that the miracle took place. Do you see? Many times, what I ask of you is not some grand task beyond your strength, but obedience in the smallest and most ordinary steps. It is through those steps that grace begins to move. There are souls who miss peace not because they lack ability, but because they overlook my gentle guidance. My child, the choices you make today are like seeds planted into the soil of your future. A tiny seed may appear insignificant when it is first sown, but in its season, it can grow into a great tree that gives shade to many. In the same way, every word you speak, every thought you nurture, every response you choose throughout the day is quietly shaping the harvest your life will one day produce. If you sow in love, faith, and patience, your soul will bear the fruit of peace. But if you allow fear to guide you, or haste to make decisions for you, you may unknowingly sow things that will leave your heart weary later on. Whatever a person sows, that he will also reap. As written in Galatians 6:7, I say this, not to make you live in anxiety, but so you may understand that every present moment is precious and full of meaning in my sight. Therefore, before you make any decision, learn to look first at the condition of your own heart. If your heart is filled with turmoil, do not rush to sow the seed. If your mind is being controlled by fear or anger, pause and allow me to calm your soul first. A wise farmer does not plant seed while the ground is still hard and dry. He prepares the soil patiently so the harvest may grow strong and healthy. I want you to learn that same wisdom in your spiritual life. There are times when the strongest thing you can do is not to act immediately, but to wait in prayer until your heart finds peace again. And my beloved child, do not think that slowing down is a sign of weakness. There are people who rush forward quickly, only to lose their souls along the way. But the one who pauses to listen to me will walk far more steadily. Whoever believes will not act hastily. As written in Isaiah 28:16, I am teaching you a rhythm different from the rhythm of the world, the rhythm of one who chooses peace over hurry, wisdom over temporary emotion, and my voice over the noise of the crowd. When you allow me to go before you, you will gradually begin to recognize that my guidance is like a shepherd walking ahead of the flock. I see the valleys your eyes cannot yet see. I know which roads lead toward life, and which roads are covered only in temporary beauty, but end in pain. Some doors I close not because I want to take something good away from you, but because I am protecting you from what would wound your soul later on. And there are doors I open, even while you still feel afraid, because I know those are the places where you will grow and discover the purpose I prepared for your life. Then day by day, as you continue choosing to walk according to my words, the story of your life will slowly become a testimony of grace. You will look back and realize that the small decisions placed in prayer protected you from many wrong turns. You will see your heart becoming more mature, your eyes more gentle, and your mind more discerning. And above all, you will come to understand that true peace does not come from every road being easy, but from knowing the one who is holding your hand through every part of the journey. Therefore, my beloved child, continue listening to my voice. Let each day of your life become another seed planted in the light, and in the appointed season, you will reap not only peace for yourself, but you will also become shade and hope for souls searching for the way back to me. My beloved child, there are seasons when the sky over your life seems to darken so quickly, when sudden, strong winds rise and leave your heart trembling. And in those moments, what keeps you standing firm is not temporary emotion or the fragile strength of your own effort, but the things you have quietly built with me during the peaceful days before the storm arrived. A tree does not wait until the storm comes before growing roots. It has already been reaching deep into the earth through countless ordinary days of sun and wind. Therefore, when the storm finally comes, those roots become the reason the tree is not torn from the ground. In the same way, my child, every prayer you lift up in silence, every moment you choose to trust me, even when nothing urgent is happening, every time you seek my presence in the ordinary rhythm of life, all of these are forming the foundation of your soul. I do not want you to remember me only in moments of pain and then forget me once life becomes comfortable again. I am not a temporary shelter you visit when weary and leave behind when the skies become clear once more. I desire to become the breath within your everyday life, the first voice you seek when dawn begins to rise, the place your heart returns to, even while everything still seems calm. Pray without ceasing. As written in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, is not a call to live in spiritual tension, but an invitation into an ongoing relationship with me. When I become familiar within your soul, you will recognize my voice more easily among the countless noises of the world. Remember Noah in the days when he built the ark upon land that had never seen such a flood. People looked at him with ridicule because all they saw was a man doing meaningless work. But Noah did not begin building the ark when the waters started rising. He built it long before the storm ever came. Every strike of the hammer was an act of faith. He did not wait for danger to become visible before obeying me. It was that quiet faithfulness that preserved his family while the world around him descended into chaos. My beloved child, I am teaching you in the same way. There are things I am asking you to build today, habits of prayer, patience, kindness, restraint in your words that may seem very small right now. But when the season of testing comes, you will understand that these are the very ark I prepared to keep your soul safe. Therefore, do not underestimate the small decisions of each day. A person does not become strong through one single moment of courage. They become steadfast through countless quiet choices of what is right, repeated again and again. When you choose to spend the first moments of your morning with me, instead of letting your thoughts rush into chaos, you are laying another brick for your spiritual house. When you hold back anger and answer with gentleness, you are strengthening the walls of peace around your heart. When you refuse an easy but dishonest shortcut, you are widening the road that leads toward life. Whoever hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house upon the rock. As written in Matthew 7:24, the rain will come, the winds will blow, but the house built upon the rock will not fall. I know the world around you is filled with attractive voices calling out to you. There are paths that appear quick and comfortable, promises that make you believe you can avoid all pain if you follow them. But not everything that is easy leads to peace. There are roads covered with flowers at the beginning that eventually lead to deep emptiness. There are pleasures that last only a moment yet leave behind long shadows within the soul. That is why I am teaching you to slow down and ask me before you take each step. There is a way that seems right to a person, but in the end it leads to death. As written in Proverbs 14, Swelth. I do not say this to frighten you, but to protect your heart from the things that would steal away the life I desire to give you. My beloved child, when you allow my word to become the compass of your life, you will no longer need to live in constant fear. A person who walks in the right direction does not always see the entire map, but they know they are following a trustworthy guide. I see what you cannot yet see. I know where deep valleys lie, hidden beneath fields of green grass. I know which doors carry beauty on the outside but conceal pain within. And I also know the small, humble paths that ultimately lead you into lasting peace. Therefore, when I keep you away from something, do not think that I am taking joy from you. I am protecting you from the things that would wound your soul far more deeply later on. Perhaps today you cannot yet see the full result of the things you are quietly sowing, but I see every brick you place through faithfulness. I see the moments when you choose prayer instead of despair, honesty instead of pretense, patience instead of haste. None of these things are meaningless. Every small choice is becoming a wall that protects your soul from many future storms. And the day will come when you look back and realize that the very things you once considered ordinary were the things that kept you from countless dangerous paths. So today, my beloved child, do not wait until you are exhausted before you seek me. Do not wait until tears fall before remembering my embrace. Let me become the dwelling place of your soul. Let my voice be the first sound you seek each morning and the final peace you hold on to before you sleep. Then, even if storms rise around you, your soul will still recognize my presence the way a child recognizes the voice of their father within a crowd. And it is that sacred familiarity that will keep you standing firm, not because you are stronger than every storm, but because you are anchored in my love that never changes. My beloved child, as you continue walking in my light, each day of your life will no longer feel like a series of meaningless moments drifting by. You will begin to realize that the future is not something distant or unreachable, but something quietly being formed through the choices you make today. Every time you choose truth instead of falsehood, faith instead of confusion, love instead of bitterness, another door quietly begins to open before you. At first, you may see only a narrow beam of light, but as you continue following me, your vision will grow wider and clearer, and your soul will gradually begin to understand the purpose I am weaving into your life. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until the full day. As written in Proverbs 4:18, I do not reveal the entire journey all at once, but my light is always enough for the next step. There are things today that you still cannot understand, but the time will come when you look back and realize that every trial, every season of waiting, every closed door was part of my loving preparation. A weaver who looks closely at the threads sees only tangled strands crossing over one another. But when the tapestry is complete, the beauty of the design becomes clear. In the same way, there are seasons when you see only scattered fragments of your life. But I am looking at the entire picture. I know where more color from patience is needed, where deeper trust must be woven in, where the light of healing must shine through. Therefore, do not fear the changes that are coming. If you walk with me, even the unexpected things will become pathways, drawing you closer to the purpose I prepared for you. Remember Abraham, when I called him to leave the familiar land of his homeland and go to the place I would show him. I did not hand him a complete map, nor did I explain every detail of the future. I simply said, "Go." And through each step of obedience, he gradually discovered the promise I had prepared for him. My beloved child, I am leading you in the same way. There are times when you want to know everything in advance so you can feel secure. But true faith is not built upon your ability to control the future. It is built upon trusting the one who holds that future in his hands. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance. As written in Hebrews 11:8. Do you see? Peace does not come from knowing all the answers, but from knowing who is leading you. Therefore, my child, when new seasons open before you, do not enter them with a mind full of fear. Let your heart overflow with hope that I am still writing the story of your life with chapters more beautiful than you have ever imagined. There are doors I will open suddenly, like dawn breaking through the darkness of night. There are roads that seem permanently closed, yet will shine again when you place them into my hands through sincere prayer. I am not limited by time, circumstances, or human weakness. What you call impossible is simply the place where my power has the opportunity to reveal itself more greatly. Remember the valley of dry bones in Ezekiel's vision. To human eyes, it was only a place of death, a place where all hope of restoration had disappeared. But I asked the prophet, Son of man, can these bones live? And when my word was spoken, the breath of life began to move. Bones came together. Flesh and skin were formed, and an entire army rose up from the place that once seemed utterly hopeless. My beloved child, there may be areas in your life today that resemble that dry valley. Perhaps you believe that dream has died, that relationship can never be healed, or that door has been shut forever. But I am still the one who causes life to spring forth in places where hope no longer remains. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. As written in Isaiah 43:19, when I desire it, a single breath from heaven is enough to transform the very circumstance standing before you. Do not allow your heart to become hardened by old disappointments. There are people who slowly close the doors of their hearts because they have prayed too long without seeing results, because they hoped too deeply and were wounded in return. But I do not want you to live like someone who has abandoned hope. I want you to keep your soul tender before miracles. The one who still knows how to hope is the one who still leaves the door open for light to enter. Therefore, even if everything around you appears unchanged today, continue praying, continue trusting, continue sowing seeds of goodness. Many times, the miracle has already begun beneath the soil, long before your eyes can see the first small sprout emerge. My beloved child, never forget that I am the one who created the star-filled heavens by my word alone. The seas obey my voice. Mountains stand still before me. There is no circumstance in your life too great for my power. What I seek is not a soul that understands everything, but a heart willing to place the impossible into my hands. And when you do, you will begin to live differently. You will no longer be drowned by despair whenever trials come. You will look upon dry lands with the eyes of one who knows that I can cause streams of water to burst forth in the wilderness. So today, my beloved child, continue walking in the light. Do not close your heart to the new things I am preparing. Do not allow the fears of the past to keep you from embracing the future I am opening before you. Day by day, step by step, I am leading you closer to maturity, to healing, and to the beautiful purpose that was written over your life before your first breath was ever drawn. And in time, you will realize that the future is not something to fear, but a love letter I am slowly unfolding before your eyes, page by page, through grace, wisdom, and a love that never runs dry. My beloved child, there are times when you ask me to change your circumstances immediately, and deep within your heart you hope the storm will disappear after just one prayer. I understand your weariness. I see the nights when you lie awake with a heart full of questions, when your eyes search for even the smallest sign that everything will eventually be all right. But there are seasons when I do not immediately calm the storm around you, because I am doing something deeper within your soul. I am teaching you a kind of peace that does not depend on circumstances. It is not a fragile peace that appears only when everything is going well, but a sacred rest belonging to the one who knows that no matter how fiercely the wind blows, I am still with them, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. As written in Philippians 4:7, that peace does not require every answer to appear immediately. It only requires my presence. Remember the night when the disciples were on the Sea of Galilee and violent waves rose around them, while they panicked, believing they were about to drown. I was resting peacefully in the boat, not because I did not care about the storm, but because I knew the storm had no authority to decide how the story would end. And when I rose and spoke to the sea, saying, "Peace, be still," the waters immediately became calm. My beloved child, many times, the first thing I desire to heal is not the storm outside you, but the panic within you. For if your heart learns how to anchor itself in me, then, even before the waves become calm, you will still be able to stand firm. There are people who only know how to trust when the waters are smooth. But I am teaching you how to trust even in the middle of the stormy night. Therefore, do not think that my silence means my absence. There are times when I do not change the circumstance immediately, but instead I am pouring strength into you so that you may walk through it without losing the light within your heart. I am shaping your heart to become like a ship anchored deeply beneath the sea. The waves may still shake the surface, but the anchor keeps the vessel from drifting away. In the same way, my presence will keep your soul steady in the midst of anxiety. And then you will realize that the greatest gift I give you is not always a quick escape, but the ability to walk in peace even before the escape appears. My beloved child, I do not care only about where you are going. I treasure every step you take along the journey. A loving father does not rejoice only when his child reaches the destination, but also watches tenderly over every time the child rises again after falling. Every small step through which they learn to grow. I love you in the same way. There are paths where I allow trials to walk beside you, not because I desire your pain, but because I know certain precious things can only be born through that process. Patience does not grow during seasons when everything always happens according to your wishes. Humility is not formed when you have never known weakness. Compassion cannot become deep if you have never walked through tears. And steadfast faith is often shaped through the moments when you continue trusting me, even without seeing the answer you prayed for. Remember Joseph, during the years when he was sold into slavery and imprisoned unjustly. If people had looked only with natural eyes, they might have believed his life was moving completely in the wrong direction. Yet, during those hidden years, I was preparing his heart for something far greater. If Joseph had stepped into power while still filled with anger or bitterness, he could never have become the one who would save an entire nation during famine. So I allowed him to walk through seasons of being forgotten, so that patience, wisdom, and mercy could be formed within him. Do you see? Sometimes, what I am doing inside you is even more important than what I am doing for you. I do not only want to bless your life, I want your soul to become wide enough to carry that blessing without losing the light within. So, my child, do not become so eager to escape every trial that you forget to notice what I am planting within your heart during that season. Perhaps today you do not yet recognize it, but every tear you lift up in prayer, every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, every moment you preserve gentleness under pressure, all of these are becoming treasures that nothing can ever steal from your soul. Suffering produces perseverance, character, and character. Hope, as written in Romans 5th, dry, veer. I am turning even the difficult things into places where hope is born within you. And then the day will come when you step out of that storm. When that moment arrives, the victory you carry will not simply be that your circumstances have changed. Something even more beautiful will have happened. You will have changed as well. Your heart will become softer toward the pain of others. Your eyes will learn to see life with gratitude instead of constant demands. Your soul will grow calmer before the things that once filled you with fear, and the light within you will become deeper. No longer the fragile light of someone untouched by hardship, but the light of one who has walked through the darkness and still chosen to hold on to love. My beloved child, I know exactly where you are on this journey. Not a single step of yours escapes my sight. Even when you feel you are moving very slowly, I am still quietly at work. Every season carries its own purpose. Every trial is preparing you for something greater ahead. And when I see that you have firmly grasped those spiritual treasures, patience, kindness, faith, and peace, then I know you are ready to step into blessings far greater than the ones you once lacked the strength to carry. So today, my child, continue walking with a faith that is gentle yet steadfast. Do not allow anxiety to steal the peace I am placing within you. Do not let unanswered questions cause you to doubt my love. I am still here, in the same boat with you, in the midst of life's storms, and no matter how high the waves may rise, my hand is still strong enough to keep you from sinking. My beloved child, do not be troubled when I answer your prayers differently from the way you imagined. There are moments when you long for me to calm the storm immediately, to open a completely smooth road and remove everything that causes your heart to tremble. But many times, what I do is not change the direction of the wind, but teach you how to raise the sails of your soul, so that the very wind itself becomes the force carrying you safely forward. Do you see? There are things that, if I remove too soon, you would never discover the strength I placed within you. Therefore, I do not always remove trials from your journey, but I am always there to guide you through them with wisdom and peace. An experienced sailor does not learn the sea only during calm and quiet days. It is in the nights of great waves and strong winds that they learn how to read the currents. Hold the wheel steady and trust their compass. In the same way, my child, I am teaching your soul to mature through every season of testing. If you are to lead you, the things that once frightened you will gradually become the very places where you learn courage. What once appeared to stand against you will become the instrument carrying you closer to the purpose I prepared for your life. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. As written in Romans 8:28, there is no wind I cannot use to guide you in the right direction, as long as your heart remains anchored in me. Remember Paul, upon the ship in the midst of the violent storm, when everyone around him had fallen into despair. The raging waves continued for many days, until the sailors lost all sense of direction and believed they would surely perish. Yet in that dark night, I spoke to Paul and assured him that his life would be spared. I did not immediately calm the sea the moment he prayed. I allowed the ship to pass through the storm, and through that very storm I carried them to the island I had already prepared. My beloved child, some of your journeys are the same. Perhaps today you feel as though you are being pushed far away from your original plans. But I am still guiding the direction of your life through the invisible hand of grace. What you call delay may simply be the way I am leading you toward the shore that was prepared for you long ago. Therefore, do not fear when everything unfolds differently from what you expected. There are doors I do not open in the way you anticipated. Yet I open another path far better than the one you imagined. There are prayers that seem unanswered, while in truth, I am answering them through quiet preparation in places your eyes cannot yet see. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways. As written in Isaiah 55:8, this does not mean I am distant from you, It means that my love and wisdom see farther than what lies before your eyes right now. And then, my beloved child, as you continue walking in trust, you will begin to realize that my power is not revealed only through miracles that astonish the world. My power is also present in the small yet life-giving moments that you may sometimes overlook. A meeting that arrives at the exact moment you were ready to give up. A gentle word that heals your heart on your most weary day. A door opening just when you believed every path had been closed. A ray of peace quietly entering your soul in the middle of a long night of anxiety. These things are not accidents. They are the footprints of my presence, quietly walking beside you each day. Remember the prophet Elijah when he sat exhausted beneath the broom tree, believing his journey had come to an end. He could not see the future, had no strength left to continue, and longed only to rest in despair. But I did not abandon him in that weakness. I sent an angel to bring him bread and water. It was not a dramatic miracle before the eyes of crowds, but a gentle act of care in the middle of the wilderness. Do you see? Sometimes, my greatest power is not found in thunder, but in the quiet strength that keeps your soul from collapsing. I care about every breath you take, every tear you shed, and every weary step you walk. There will be days when you can see only a very small ray of light. Yet even that single ray is enough to prove that I am still present. A person walking through the night does not need the entire sky to burst into light at once. They only need enough light for the next step, and I will always give you that. As you learn to recognize me in the small things, your heart will gradually open wider to my presence. You will no longer seek me only in great miracles, but you will encounter me in the morning bird song, in the peace that comes after prayer, in a sincere hand held out to you, in the quiet moment when your heart finally finds rest amid the chaos. My beloved child, I am continuing to write the story of your life with a wisdom far beyond what you can understand right now. There are chapters you have not yet reached, so you cannot fully comprehend the meaning of what is happening today. But I see the entire book of your life, and I know that every wind, every trial, every encounter is being placed exactly where it belongs to create a story filled with grace. Therefore, do not let fear cause your heart to close itself off. Let my presence become the deepest refuge of your soul. For when you abide in me, even the storm no longer becomes a sign that you are lost, but instead becomes the wind carrying you closer to the shore I have prepared for you with everlasting love. And one day, when you look back on the road you have traveled, you will realize that what kept you from sinking was not only that the storm eventually passed, but that you learned how to trust me in the midst of it. And in that place, your heart will shine with a deeper kind of light, the light of one who walked through the darkness without losing hope, the light of one who knows that, though the sea of life may still hold many waves, my hand remains strong enough to carry you safely to the place of peace. My beloved child, there are days when the sea of life lies calm, like a lake at dawn, but there are also nights when fierce winds rise and leave your heart trembling. I know every season you are walking through. I see both the smiles you offer to others and the hidden weariness you carry quietly within yourself. But I want you to engrave this truth deeply into your soul. There is not a single season you must walk through alone. Whether the skies are clear or filled with storms, I am always present upon the boat of your life. Fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. As written in Isaiah 41:10, my presence does not depend on whether the sea is calm or raging. I am there both in the roar of the waves and in the quietest moments of your life. There are times when you ask me to remove the storm immediately, but my child, the first thing I often give you is not calm seas, but peace strong enough to keep you standing in the midst of the storm. Do you remember the story of the disciples upon the Sea of Galilee, when waves crashed into the boat and fear overwhelmed their hearts? I was still sleeping peacefully, not because I was indifferent to the danger, but because I knew the storm was not greater than the power of the Father. And then, with only a single command, the wind ceased and the sea became still. My beloved child, that story was not written merely to recount a miracle of long ago. It is a reminder to your soul today that my peace always comes before the solution, before the circumstance changes. I want your heart to learn how to rest in me. There are people who feel peaceful only when every problem has already been resolved. But I am teaching you a peace deeper than that, the peace of someone who knows that even while the waves are still high, the one who rules over the sea is still with them. When I step into the boat of your life, chaos no longer has authority over your mind. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives. As written in John 14:27, the peace of the world depends upon favorable circumstances. But my peace is like a lighthouse standing firm in the darkness of night, unmoved by the storms raging around it. My beloved child, the most precious thing you learn in the storm is not merely how to avoid pain, but how to keep your eyes fixed on me. When Peter walked upon the water, he remained steady as long as his eyes were on me. But the moment he focused on the wind and the waves, fear pulled him downward. Do you see? What steals your peace is often not that the waves have grown larger, but that your eyes have drifted away from me for too long. I do not condemn you for those moments of weakness. I simply call you back with gentleness. Look at me, for when you turn your gaze toward me, your soul will find its direction again, even in the darkest places. I am teaching you how to read the map of the spiritual skies. There are seasons when you must wait instead of rushing ahead. There are moments when you must drop anchor in prayer rather than allowing your heart to be swept away by anxiety. And there are also times when I ask you to raise your sails and move forward in faith to receive the new wind I am sending. A wise sailor does not fight against every wind. They learn how to adjust the sails so the wind becomes a force that carries them instead of a threat that destroys them. I am teaching you the same thing. What once frightened you will no longer rule over you when you learn how to lean upon my guidance. Remember Moses when he stood before the Red Sea, with the people behind him and the enemy before him. Everything appeared completely closed off. Yet I did not only part the sea for them to cross, I taught them that what seems like a dead end can still become a pathway when I am present. My beloved child, there may be circumstances in your life today that make you feel trapped like the Israelites on that day, but I am still the one who opens a way through the depths of the sea. What I ask from you is not perfect understanding, but a heart willing to trust enough to move forward when I say, go. Therefore, do not fear the winding roads ahead of you. Do not believe that you must fully understand everything before you can walk in peace. Let my voice become the gentle compass for your soul. I may not always explain everything immediately, but I will always guide you step by step. As you learn to listen for my whisper among the noise of the world, you will discover that many right decisions are not born from haste, but from a deep peace within. My beloved child, the sea of life will still have seasons of raging waves, but you are no longer the same person who entered the storm with fearful eyes. I am maturing your soul through every journey. Every time you choose to trust me in the midst of the unknown, the light within you shines more brightly. Every time you become still to hear my voice instead of chasing the noise of fear, your heart grows steadier. And the day will come when you look back at the storms of the past and realize that the most beautiful thing was not merely that you survived them, but that you encountered me more deeply in the midst of the darkest days. So today, my child, place your hand in mine once again. Let me step into the boat of your life, not only during the storms, but also in the quiet and peaceful days. I will teach you how to walk with calm eyes and a gentle heart. I will lead you across seas you have never known. And even when strong winds rise, you will still recognize my voice softly speaking over your soul. Do not be afraid. I am here. My beloved child, I want you to understand that my presence is not something distant that appears only in dramatic moments or miracles that astonish human hearts. I am not found only in grand temples or in the moments when you kneel in tears. I am very near, nearer than the breath you have just exhaled, nearer than the quiet heartbeat within your chest at this very moment. My presence is a gentle stream of life flowing through the ordinary days of your existence. You encounter me in the short prayer whispered before leaving your home. In the moment, you close your eyes and take a deep breath amid the busyness of life. In the quiet thank you that rises within you when the morning sunlight touches your window. These things may seem simple in the eyes of the world, but to me, they are like golden threads, quietly weaving together a life that is steady and filled with peace. Many people believe that to draw near to me, they must always do something extraordinary. But my child, I often enter your life through the smallest and gentlest things. Just as a soft rain does not shake the earth, yet still seeps deeply into the soil, my presence quietly nourishes your soul through the simple habits of each day. A whispered prayer while driving, a moment of silence before responding when anger rises within you, a decision to choose gentleness instead of reacting impulsively. All these are places where I am touching your life. Be still and know that I am God. As written in Psalm 46:10, some of the soul's greatest lessons are not learned in noise, but in the quiet places where your heart learns how to return to me. Remember Mary, who sat at my feet to listen while so many others were busy with countless tasks. The world moves quickly and often praises what is loud and visible. But I saw beauty in the stillness of a soul that chose to remain close to me. Mary was not accomplishing anything impressive in that moment, yet her soul was being nourished by my presence. My beloved child, I am inviting you into the same kind of closeness. Do not believe that every day must be filled with visible achievements in order to have meaning. Some of the most precious days are the days when you keep your heart at peace in the middle of a busy life. The days when you still remember to turn your soul toward me, even for a few quiet moments. When you allow my peace to flow through your mind, you will begin to notice that your decisions become wiser and clearer. You will no longer react from fear or haste, but will begin acting from a deep place of calm within you. Your love for others will also grow wider, because those who live near me learn how to see people through the eyes of mercy. You will discover that even in the midst of work, responsibilities, and daily pressure, your soul can still remain in me, just as a sail remains in the wind while the ship continues moving forward. Your heart can remain in my presence, even while life continues to move around you. Little by little, the people who cross your path will begin to sense something different within you. Not a flashy kind of light that draws attention to itself, but the gentle fragrance of peace. Your words will carry encouragement instead of wounds. Your eyes will soften toward the pain of others. Your presence will become like the shade of a small tree along someone's scorching journey. You may not even realize it, but the gentleness I am forming within you will become a resting place for many weary souls. Let your light shine before others. As written in Matthew 5:16, not through display or performance, but through a quiet life reflecting my love. And then, my beloved child, after you have tasted my faithfulness through many storms, you will begin to treasure silence more deeply than before. Things you once considered ordinary will become precious treasures to your soul. A quiet morning, birds singing outside your window, slow footsteps along a familiar path, or the peace of simply knowing that I am near. You will come to understand that not every kind of beauty needs to arrive with noise and grandeur. Some of the most sacred things come gently, like morning light slipping through a curtain or the soft whisper of wind moving across a field. I am teaching you a way of living different from the world, a life not built upon chasing quick results, but upon quietly cultivating what is good. The world wants to see flowers bloom immediately, but I know that everything lasting requires time to grow deep roots. Therefore, do not underestimate the days that seem small and repetitive. It is within those very days that I am quietly creating depth within your soul. Whoever is faithful in very little will also be faithful in much. As written in Luke 16:10, when you care for small things with love and perseverance, you are building a life upon a foundation that will not easily be shaken. My beloved child, the road ahead will still hold many turns and seasons you cannot yet foresee. But now you carry within you a precious key, the ability to remain in me. And when you learn how to remain in my presence, you will no longer fear change. For you will understand that in me, you have not only a shelter for your soul, but also a gentle school where you are shaped day by day through grace. It is within that quietness that small seeds grow into lasting fruit, not loud, not boastful, but filled with life and the fragrance of heaven. My beloved child, I know there are days when you look around and wonder why the things you have prayed for have not yet blossomed, why your quiet efforts still seem to show no visible results. You see others moving quickly, and you watch the world celebrate things that rise and fade in an instant. And at times, your own heart grows weary because your journey seems slower than expected. But I want you to remember that things with deep roots do not grow in haste. A mighty tree is not formed after only one rainstorm, but through many quiet days of drawing water, sinking roots deeper, and standing firm through sun and wind. In the same way, your soul is being built from within in ways that natural eyes cannot yet see. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, they shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. As written in Psalm 92:12, what I am creating within you is not fragile or temporary. I am forming something that will stand firm through many seasons of life. There are seeds that remain hidden beneath the soil for a very long time before the first green shoot finally appears. The impatient person may think that nothing is happening, yet beneath the dark earth, life is already quietly moving. My beloved child, there are seasons in your life that are exactly like this. Even when your eyes cannot yet see great changes, I am still working within the hidden places of your soul. Every time you choose gentleness instead of reacting in anger, every time you keep your lips from speaking words that would wound others, every time you reach out a helping hand instead of turning away, all of these things are quietly building strength within your spirit. I am teaching you a sacred habit to respond to life with love instead of being ruled by temporary emotions. My child, the truly strong person is not the one who always speaks the loudest or always appears victorious in the eyes of the world. The truly strong person is the one who knows how to keep their heart soft in a cold world, how to remain pure in the midst of chaos, how to preserve peace even while being misunderstood or wounded. These small things are becoming armor for your spirit. When the great storms truly arrive, what keeps you standing will not be an appearance of strength, but the responses that have been shaped through love and faith long before the storm ever came. One who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. As written in Proverbs 16:32, some of the greatest victories do not happen upon loud battlefields, but within the hidden chambers of the heart. Remember David when he was only a shepherd boy in the wilderness. Before he ever stood before Goliath, he passed through many unseen days, days of protecting sheep from lions and bears, days of playing music and singing before me in solitude. The world saw only the great victory over the giant, but I saw the hidden years that prepared David's soul for that moment. My beloved child, I am preparing you in the same way through the small things of daily life. Do not underestimate the work that no one else notices. It is within the hidden places that I create true depth within your life. But when you pray, Go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. As written in Matthew 6:6, I treasure the moments when you come to me, not to be seen by others, but simply because your heart longs for me. I see every prayer you whisper for someone else late at night. I see the tears you quietly wipe away when no one else knows. I see the times you choose silence instead of argument, forgiveness instead of bitterness. None of these things are forgotten before my eyes. Every quiet act of love is like a precious jewel I am storing within eternal treasures. Perhaps the world does not always recognize the value of such gentle and hidden things. People are often drawn to what shines brightly on the outside, but I look into the deepest part of the soul. I see beauty in the heart that still remains kind in a world that easily grows cold. I see something precious in the person who still bends down to lift others up even while carrying their own weariness. My beloved child, heaven does not measure your worth by the applause of crowds, but by the love you carry within the smallest acts of each day. And the day will come when you look back and realize that those hidden seasons were never meaningless. It was during those days that seemed unchanged that I caused the roots of your faith to grow deeper. It was through the moments when you chose gentleness over anger that your soul became more like mine. It was through the good things you did without seeking recognition that your heart was widened to carry more light. What you are sowing today will not remain beneath the soil forever. In the appointed season, the fruit will appear not only in your own life, but also in the lives of those touched by your gentle presence. My beloved child, do not rush the process I am carrying out within you. I do not work as the world works, where everything must happen quickly in order to be noticed. I work like a patient gardener, caring for every leaf, every root, every tender shoot, and I am caring for you in the same way. Perhaps today you cannot yet see the beauty I am creating, but I can. I know the day the seed will break through the soil, the day the flower will bloom, the day the harvest will come. So continue walking in gentleness and faithfulness. Continue praying in the hidden place. Continue loving even when love is not returned. Continue sowing goodness even when you do not yet see immediate results. For every small thing you do in love is becoming light not only for your own life, but also for many other souls searching for peace along their journey. And one day, when you stand and look back upon the road you have traveled, you will understand that the quietest moments were the very places where I created the most enduring miracles in your life. My beloved child, the training ground of the Spirit is not like the places the world often celebrates. It is not filled with cheering voices, bright lights, or applause that intoxicates human hearts. The place where I shape your soul is often very quiet, sometimes so quiet that you may think nothing is happening at all. Yet it is within those silent moments that I am teaching you to hear the heartbeat of my heart. There are lessons that cannot be learned in the noise of crowds, but can only be engraved deeply within you when you are alone with me. In simplicity and truth, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. As written in Psalm 37:7, that stillness is not an empty space without meaning, but the place where I am quietly creating depth within your soul. I know there are times when you wish you could be changed instantly, when you long to see spiritual growth arrive like a flash of lightning across the sky. But my child, the things that endure are usually formed very slowly. A great river is not created after a single rainfall, but through countless small drops of water flowing quietly, day after day. In the same way, your growth does not come from one dramatic moment alone, but from the thousands of small choices you make every day. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, every time you continue praying even without seeing results, every time you remain gentle under pressure, all of these things are quietly transforming you from within. Remember Gideon, who once trembled with fear and believed himself too small for the calling I placed upon him. Before he won the great battle, I led him through many hidden lessons so his heart could learn how to trust me. I did not immediately give him the mighty army he expected. Instead, I reduced the number of men beside him so that Gideon would understand that victory does not come from human strength, but from my presence, my beloved child. There are times when I also allow you to walk through seasons with little support or outward glory, because I am teaching you to depend upon me more than upon yourself. Some of the greatest battles are won only by souls that have first learned humility in the hidden place. Therefore, do not underestimate ordinary days. Perhaps today you are only doing repetitive things, only trying to remain faithful in very small matters. But I see the deeper meaning within all of it. It is through those days that seem unremarkable that I am preparing you for greater things. A musician cannot perform a beautiful symphony without first patiently practicing each small note in solitude. A warrior cannot stand firm in a great battle without first being trained through countless quiet hours. In the same way, your soul is being prepared through every day. You choose what is right, even when no one else notices. Whoever is faithful in little will also be faithful in much. As written in Luke 16:10, I do not measure your growth by how impressive you appear before others. I look at how you live when no one is watching. I see how you treat those who wound you. I see how you guard the purity of your mind in a chaotic world. I see the prayers you whisper in secret and the tears you wipe away when no one knows. And it is these very things that are building a foundation that cannot easily be shaken. My beloved child, the day will come when you step into new seasons with a steadiness that even surprises you. You will realize that you no longer panic as easily as before, no longer become swept away by every negative voice around you. A deep peace is growing within you because your soul has become accustomed to leaning upon me. Then you will understand that true victory is not found only upon mountaintops or in moments visible to the world. The greatest victory is when you still preserve integrity in secret, still keep love alive in a world that grows cold, still stand firm in truth even when no one applauds you for it. The world often believes victory is found in the spotlight, in applause, or in standing above others. But I am teaching you a different kind of victory, the victory of a person who has learned how to rule their own heart. Such a person can walk through storms without losing gentleness. They can be misunderstood without allowing bitterness to take hold of their soul. They can remain in silence without feeling empty because they know I am with them. One who rules their spirit is greater than one who captures a city. As written in Proverbs 16:32, that is the strength I am forming within you. And then, my beloved child, when I lead you into greater battles, you will not walk with arrogant confidence, but with the peace of one who knows they are not fighting alone. You will no longer need to prove yourself to anyone, because you will have learned that true strength is found in walking beside me. There may still be trials ahead. There may still be mountains left to climb. But now you know where the anchor of your soul is found. You have learned how to return to me in both the bright days and the dark ones. My beloved child, your final outcome will be victory, not because you are more perfect than others, but because you allowed me to shape and guide you through even the smallest steps. It was those quiet and unseen days that strengthened your feet, brightened your eyes, and deepened your heart. And one day, when you look back upon the road you have traveled, you will realize that the seasons which once seemed the most ordinary were actually the very places where I was preparing you for things far greater than you ever dared to imagine. My beloved child, your true victory does not begin on the day every door swings open, or when the world finally notices what I have placed within you. Victory begins the moment you place your small hand into mine and choose to walk with me through the unknown. The moment you said yes to my guidance, a new seed was planted within your soul, the seed of life, of hope, of a future built upon grace rather than fear. Therefore, do not think of victory only as a distant and glorious destination far ahead. It is already growing day by day within the peaceful steps you take beside me. There are people who call themselves victorious only when they achieve what they desired. But I am teaching you a much deeper kind of victory. It is when your heart remains peaceful in seasons of waiting. It is when you preserve gentleness in situations that easily make people bitter. It is when you continue choosing trust even while your eyes still cannot see the outcome. Through Him who loved us, we are more than conquerors. As written in Romans 8:37. Do you see? Victory is not only something happening around you, it is something I am forming within you. There are people standing upon great heights whose souls remain empty. Yet there are others who walk through trials with me and carry within themselves a light that nothing can extinguish. My child, every step you walk with me carries meaning. Even the smallest steps you believe no one notices. There is no turn in your path that is accidental when you allow me to guide you. There are roads that once confused you with their twists and bends. But one day you will look back and understand that it was there. I taught you to become more patient, more loving, and more wise. A person who walks only upon smooth roads will never fully understand the strength of their own feet. In the same way, your soul matures through every path I allow you to walk, and every place you pass through can become soil where grace blossoms. Remember Joshua when he stood before the walls of Jericho. I did not tell him to destroy the walls through his own strength. I simply asked him to walk in obedience, circling the city day after day in a way that must have seemed foolish to human understanding. Perhaps many people could not understand why he continued faithfully in such silence. Yet it was that quiet obedience that opened the way for the miracle to happen. My beloved child, many times I am also leading you in ways your mind cannot yet fully understand. There are things I ask of you that seem very small. Continue praying. Continue remaining faithful. Continue keeping your heart gentle, but it is through those small steps that invisible walls before you are already beginning to tremble. I am not leading you toward a future that is uncertain or without direction. I am guiding you into the life that was prepared with love long before you ever recognized it. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm, to give you a future and a hope. As written in Jeremiah 29:11, you are not a lost soul wandering through a chaotic world. You are a child being led step by step by your Father. And even when you cannot yet see the whole journey, I still clearly see where I am leading you. Therefore, my beloved child, let your heart learn how to rest within my promises. Do not allow the changing winds of circumstance to shake your gaze. There will be days when the sky holds more clouds. There will be roads that leave your feet weary, but the sun of faith is always still shining above the clouds. As you continue walking in the light, you will begin to notice the horizon before you growing wider and clearer. What frightened you yesterday no longer has authority over you today. What once caused you to doubt yourself has now become the place where you see my faithfulness most clearly. I am writing the story of your life with gentleness, not with the pressure of the world. Many people live as though they must constantly race to prove their worth. But I am teaching you to walk with the peace of one who already knows they are loved. A flower does not force itself to bloom through stress. It simply remains where the light can reach it. In the same way, what I desire from you is not pressured perfection, but a heart willing to remain in me. Abide in me, and I will abide in you. As written in John 15:4, when you remain in me, life will flow naturally through your soul, the way sap flows through the branches of a vine. And the day will come when you look back and realize that victory had already begun long ago, not on the day your circumstances finally changed, but on the day you decided to trust me, even without clearly seeing the road ahead. From that very moment, Your heart had already begun to heal. Your eyes had already begun to grow brighter, and your soul had already begun to mature in peace. Perhaps the world could not see it yet, but heaven saw it clearly. My beloved child, do not underestimate the small steps you are taking today. Every right choice, every quiet prayer, every moment you continue loving instead of closing your heart, all of these things are lighting the path of your tomorrow. I am leading you closer to your purpose, closer to maturity, closer to the light I placed within you from the very beginning. And little by little, you will come to understand that true victory is not standing higher than others, but walking beside me with a heart that is peaceful, gentle, and no longer ruled by fear. My beloved child, do not be surprised when, after the longest seasons of rain, I allow the most beautiful green shoots to rise from the very ground that once seemed dry and lifeless. I know there are times when you walk through hardship and wonder whether you are slowly becoming weaker. You see one trial after another and feel as though your strength is nearly gone. But my child, what I am doing within you is not the wearing away of your soul, but its refining. Rain does not destroy the seed hidden beneath the soil. The rain softens it, so life can finally break forth. In the same way, difficult seasons do not take away your value. They are revealing the beauty and strength I placed within you long before you ever recognized it yourself. There are depths of faith that can only be opened when you pass through places where you can no longer rely upon your own strength. It is through the days of waiting that your patience becomes wider and stronger. It is through the moments when you are wounded yet still choose to love that your heart becomes gentler. It is through continuing to trust even without seeing results that your spiritual eyes begin to see farther than natural sight ever could. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. As written in James 1:3, I do not allow you to pass through fire in order to destroy you, but to remove the things that have been hiding the true light within your soul. Remember Job during the days when everything around him seemed to collapse. He lost his possessions, his health, and even the things that once made his life feel secure. There were moments when his friends looked at him and believed his life had become nothing but ashes. Yet, in the midst of that painful season, something sacred was taking place. Job's heart was being drawn closer to me than ever before, and when the season of testing finally passed, he did not merely receive restoration. Outwardly, he also carried within himself a deeper understanding of me. My beloved child, many times the greatest gift I give after hardship is not only outward restoration, but a heart that has become more mature, more profound, and more reflective of my image. Gold does not become radiant without first passing through fire. In the same way, your soul is being refined so that my light may shine through you more clearly. And when you emerge from this season of testing, you will realize that you are no longer the same person you once were. Your words will become gentler because you now understand the weight of pain. Your decisions will become steadier because you have learned how to listen to me instead of rushing after emotions. Your steps will become lighter because you no longer carry so much fear within your heart. That is the true victory I desire to give you, not merely changed circumstances, but a transformed person. My beloved child, I am leading you into a circle of blessing that is gentle yet powerful. When you choose to trust me through trials, your soul grows stronger. As your soul matures, good fruit begins to appear in your life. And when you witness my faithfulness through that fruit, your trust in me grows even deeper. In this way, day by day, the light within you continues to grow brighter. The righteous go from strength to strength. As written in Psalm 84:7, I am not driving you forward through pressure or fear. I am leading you step by step into maturity through love and grace. Therefore today, I want to give you simple keys that can open the door to peace each day. Begin your mornings with gratitude. A small word of thanks can change the atmosphere within your soul. A grateful heart will find light even in the most ordinary things. Give thanks in all circumstances. As written in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, gratitude is like a doorway that allows my peace to enter your mind. Then set aside a quiet moment to listen to me. Do not allow the new day to carry you away too quickly before your soul has been anchored in my presence. Many answers do not come through loud noise, but through the gentle stillness where your heart learns how to listen. I often whisper rather than shout, and the one who knows how to pause will hear my voice more clearly than the one who is always rushing. Let my word walk beside you every day. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As written in Psalm 119-105, I do not always show you the entire road ahead, but I always provide enough light for the next step. When your heart is filled with my word, your mind will no longer be pulled so easily by fear. You will learn to discern the difference between the voice of anxiety and the voice of truth. And my beloved child, do not underestimate small acts of kindness. A sincere smile, a word of encouragement, a hand extended to support someone through a difficult day. All these things carry the fragrance of heaven. The one who sows kindness will never be poor in spirit. The small things you do in love may become a great light in another person's life without you ever realizing it. Remain close to the loving community I have placed around you. No one was created to fight alone. There will be days when you need others to strengthen you through prayer, through their presence, or through a gentle reminder that you have not been forgotten. Two are better than one. As written in Ecclesiastes 4:9, I use sincere souls to become places of support for one another along the journey. And in the middle of life's busyness, remember to pause and breathe within. My peace. One deep breath taken in, my presence can redirect your entire mind. There are battles that do not require you to strive harder, but instead require you to become still enough to remember that I am with you. My beloved child, daily victory does not always arrive through dramatic moments. Sometimes victory is simply that you preserved a gentle heart after an exhausting day. Sometimes it is continuing to pray even when answers have not yet appeared. Sometimes it is refusing to allow darkness to steal the light within you. And I want you to know that every gentle step you walk beside me is counted as victory. Quiet, unseen, without display, yet steady and full of life. Those hidden victories are weaving together a life that reflects my love, my peace, and my eternal beauty more clearly with each passing day. My beloved child, now lift up your head and look ahead with gentler eyes and a more peaceful heart. You are not walking toward a future that is dark or uncertain. I have already gone before you, prepared roads that you cannot yet fully see, and placed footprints of grace along the journey. There are doors waiting for the appointed moment to open. There are promises quietly growing like seeds beneath the soil. There are blessings already woven like a sheltering shade for days you have not yet reached. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm, to give you a future and a hope, as written in Jeremiah 29:11. Therefore, do not allow your heart to sink because some things are not yet complete. What I have begun within you, I will not abandon unfinished. As you continue walking in faith, you will begin to notice the sky before you growing wider day by day. Not because circumstances always become easy, but because your heart has learned how to open itself to receive my light. The person who lives in fear sees every door becoming narrower, but the one who lives in trust discovers that even the driest land can bloom beneath my hands. And my child, every time you choose to give love instead of closing your heart, you are touching a deep principle of my kingdom. Give, and it will be given to you. As written in Luke 6:38, true love does not empty you, it expands your soul so you may receive even more light in return. I know there have been days when you believed you were moving too slowly, Days when you looked around and wondered whether this journey was truly leading anywhere good. But now, as you look back upon the road behind you, you will begin to realize that I never left you for even a single moment. I was there in the gentle breezes of peaceful days. I was also there in the storms that made you feel as though you might collapse. Sometimes you heard my voice as clearly as the morning dawn. Other times you sensed me only through a fragile peace in the middle of a long night. But my beloved child, no matter the way, I have always remained beside you. Remember the people of Israel as they walked through the wilderness. There were days when they could not understand why the journey was taking so long, why the road seemed to circle endlessly. Yet it was in that desert that I taught them how to depend upon me, how to live by manna given day by day, how to understand that my presence was more precious than even the richest land. By day, I led them with a pillar of cloud, and by night with a pillar of fire, so they would know that even in the most barren places, they had not been abandoned. My beloved child, your journey is the same. There are stretches of road I do not fully explain immediately, but I always leave enough light for the next step. You have begun to understand that hardship is not the end of the story, but often the doorway into a more beautiful chapter. There are things you would never learn without passing through tears. There are depths of faith that appear only after you have stood in darkness and still chosen to trust me. And it is in those seasons that you begin to see the light I placed within you from the beginning. That light does not come from your own perfection, but from my presence within you. You are the light of the world. As written in Matthew 5:14, not because you have never walked through darkness, but because even within the darkness, you still held on to hope. My beloved child, not one tear you have ever shed has been meaningless before my eyes. The world may forget your pain, but I have gathered every sigh and every sorrow within my heart. Some tears shed today will become streams, watering the fields of your tomorrow. Some prayers that seem silent are quietly taking root beneath the surface of your life. And in the appointed season, you will see fruit appear in ways greater than you ever imagined. I am weaving the story of your life with golden threads of grace. At times you see only scattered pieces, a small joy, an unexpected trial, a closed door, a chance encounter. But from where I stand, everything is being connected into a beautiful and meaningful tapestry. A weaver often sees the finished image long before the tapestry is complete, while the one looking from beneath sees only tangled threads crossing in confusion. My beloved child, I already see the fullness of what I will accomplish through your life. Therefore, continue trusting me, even when you do not yet understand everything. And now, I want you to keep walking forward with a posture of peace and a gentle heart. Do not walk like someone afraid they must save themselves. Walk like a child who knows their father is beside them. Your victory is not found in never falling down, but in the fact that every time you fall, you still reach for my hand and rise again. From the moment you first said yes to my guidance, victory had already begun growing within your soul quietly, yet surely, gently, yet powerfully. So, my beloved child, continue moving forward. When you walk in my light, even unexpected turns will become part of something good. When you remain in me, all things will ultimately work together for your good. And with every step along this journey, you will slowly discover the deepest truth of all. True victory is not merely a gift I give you, but my very presence, walking beside you each day, the one who strengthens you in weakness, guides you through darkness, and sings songs of triumph over your life with an everlasting love that will never fade. My beloved child, now as you look back upon the road you have traveled, you will begin to realize that the trials which once caused your heart to tremble were never a sentence of abandonment. They were quiet yet loving invitations through which I drew you closer to wisdom and life. There are doors that open only when your soul has matured enough to enter them. There are lessons that can only be understood after you have passed through dark days and discovered that my light never truly left you. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. As written in James 1:12, do you see? Even within the trial, I am already preparing a reward for the soul that chooses to endure faithfully. There were times when you looked at the raging winds and believed your journey was about to sink beneath the waves. There were moments when you mistook my silence for distance, when you thought the difficult road meant I had turned away from you. But now you are beginning to understand something deeper. Many times I am closest to you in the very seasons when you feel weakest. Just as a father bends down to hold his child firmly while they learn to walk along a rough path, I have been standing close beside you, protecting every step you take. There were dangers I quietly kept away from you without your knowledge. There were roads leading toward loss that I gently closed before you ever stepped onto them. And even when your heart could not yet understand, my love was still protecting you in ways far beyond your sight. Remember Joseph when he was sold into Egypt by his own brothers. To human eyes, it looked like betrayal and injustice. Yet through every painful stage of that journey, I was quietly guiding him. The prison was not the end of Joseph's story. It became the place where I prepared him for something far greater. Without those years of misunderstanding and testing, he would never have developed the depth needed to carry the responsibility of saving an entire nation. My beloved child, there are things you call obstacles today that are actually my hand redirecting your life away from smaller things in order to lead you into a greater purpose. I delight in seeing that you are beginning to learn the carefulness of one who listens to me. The decisions you make are no longer built only upon temporary emotions or hurried fear, but are slowly being founded upon peace and wisdom. There are moments when you pause to pray instead of rushing to act. There are times when you choose silence to preserve the purity of your heart instead of arguing merely to prove yourself right. Those seemingly small choices are becoming the foundation stones of your life. The wise man built his house upon the rock. As written in Matthew 7:24, I am teaching you to build your life not upon changing emotions, but upon my steady guidance. My beloved child, the most beautiful thing I see within you is not that you have never been afraid, but that even in fear, you still choose to keep walking beside me. In the past, perhaps every strong wind caused your heart to panic, but now you are learning how to smile in the midst of uncertainty because your heart is becoming familiar with my presence. A skilled sailor cannot control the wind, but they learn how to set the sails in the right direction. In the same way, I do not always remove every trial from your life, but I am teaching you how to live through trials without losing your peace. There are storms that, to natural eyes, seem to bring only chaos. Yet in my hands they become winds carrying you closer to the shore I have prepared for you. When Paul drifted through the violent storm and the ship was shattered apart, everyone believed the story was over. Yet it was through that very storm that they were carried to the place I had already intended for them. Do you see? Sometimes what you call brokenness is simply the way I move you away from a vessel that is no longer meant for your new journey. I never allow storms to appear without purpose. If you continue holding on to my hand, even the fiercest things will serve the good work I am accomplishing in your life. And now, you are beginning to understand that the most precious thing you receive after seasons of testing is not merely that you escaped pain or survived hardship. The most precious thing is that you have become different. Your eyes shine more brightly because you have learned how to see beyond immediate circumstances. Your heart has grown softer because you learned compassion through your own suffering. Your spirit has become steadier because you have witnessed my faithfulness again and again in places that once seemed completely hopeless. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will watch over you with my eye. As written in Psalm 32, 8. This is the whisper I continue speaking over your life each day. I am not merely standing at the end of the journey waiting for you to arrive. I am walking with you through every winding road, across every narrow bridge, and through every unexpected windstorm. And as you continue walking in trust, you will begin to realize that your soul no longer fears the raging sea the way it once did. For now, you have learned the secret of those who walk with me. Peace does not come from the wind ceasing to blow, but from knowing who is holding the helm of the ship. So today, my beloved child, continue setting your sails in the direction I lead. Do not fear unfamiliar seas. Do not panic when the sky begins to change. I was with you through the storms before, and I will not leave you in the journeys yet to come. Every step you take with me is drawing you closer to maturity, healing, and the eternal light I placed within you from the very beginning. My beloved child, I have seen every moment you stood before small crossroads with uncertainty filling your heart. There are decisions that seem insignificant in the eyes of the world, yet I know they carry the weight of an entire future quietly taking shape. And I rejoice to see that you are learning not to live according to hurried emotions anymore, but to pause and seek my voice before moving forward. It is within those seemingly small moments that your soul is growing stronger day by day. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. As written in Proverbs 6, I care not only about the great decisions of your life, I am also present within every small choice you make through trust in me. You have learned that gentleness carries greater strength than anger, and that waiting in peace is wiser than rushing ahead in haste. There were moments when your lips longed to speak words that could wound, yet you chose silence and prayer instead. There were days when your heart wanted to complain because things had not unfolded as you hoped, yet you chose gratitude and kept walking forward. My beloved child, those things are not small in my eyes. They are opening pathways for your soul to move beyond invisible dead ends you once could not see. The world often believes destiny is shaped by dramatic moments, but I know your life is formed through the quiet choices repeated faithfully each day. Remember Ruth, the woman who walked through loss with nothing certain before her. To human eyes, her decision to remain with Naomi instead of returning to her homeland may have seemed small and costly, yet it was her faithfulness and gentleness that led her into the greater purpose I had prepared. She did not know that every humble step she took through the fields gathering leftover grain was bringing her closer to an eternal promise. My beloved child, there are things you are doing today with an upright heart that may seem unseen by others, but I am using them to lead you into fields far greater than you can imagine. You are beginning to recognize my hand within the smallest details of your life. A meeting that appeared accidental, yet carried the answer to your prayers. A closed door that caused sorrow at first, only for you later to understand that I was protecting you from a place not meant for you. A gentle word arriving at the very moment your soul was nearly exhausted. These things are not meaningless coincidences. I am quietly weaving your life together with countless small threads of grace. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. As written in Proverbs 9, I am still guiding you, even when you cannot yet see the entire picture. My beloved child, I have also revealed my power in ways you did not expect. There were times when you waited for a great miracle to instantly change your circumstances. Yet I chose first to perform a miracle within you. I strengthened you when you thought you no longer had the strength to continue. I kept your heart from becoming bitter through painful days. I brought clarity to your mind in the midst of confusion. And then you began to understand that miracles are not only seas parting or mountains moving. Many times, the miracle is that you still carry light within your heart after everything you have endured. Remember Paul and Silas in the prison cell. Their chains were still there, and the prison doors remained shut. Yet they chose to lift songs of praise to me in the darkness of night. And it was in that place, which appeared to be defeat, that my power began shaking the very foundations of the prison. Do you see? The miracle did not begin when the doors opened, but from the moment their hearts chose to trust me in the darkness. In the same way, my beloved child, some of the greatest victories in your life will not happen when circumstances suddenly change, but when your soul learns how to live in hope, even while everything around you still appears the same. I know there were burdens that made you believe you could never carry them, yet step by step, I made them lighter, not because I always removed every trial from your life, but because I carried them with you. Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you. As written in 1 Peter 5 gegen 7, when you allow me into the weakest places of your heart, my strength begins lifting you in a way that is gentle yet enduring. And now, my beloved child, you are slowly beginning to understand that true victory is not merely waiting at the end of the road, like a trophy to display before the world. Victory is the ability to wake each morning with a soul still full of hope. Victory is when you preserve gentleness in a world that so easily hardens people. Victory is when you continue loving even after you have been wounded. It is within these things that I am writing the song of triumph over your life. Others may only see outward accomplishments, but I see something far deeper. I see a heart that has learned to depend on me. I see a soul no longer easily swept away by fear. I see a person reflecting my peace and my love more clearly with each passing day. That is the most beautiful miracle of all. So today, my beloved child, continue walking along the path covered with my promises. Do not underestimate the small choices you make every day. Do not believe your growth is invisible. I see every step you take, and every decision you place into my hands is becoming a golden thread woven into a story filled with light, where every hardship will eventually become living evidence of my faithfulness and everlasting power upon your life. My beloved child, now, as you look back on the seasons you have passed through, you are beginning to recognize one thing that never left your life: my steadfast presence. Not a distant presence like some vague idea, but a gentle breath that remained beside you through your weakest days. There were nights when you did not know how you could continue. Moments of darkness when your mind was filled with the noise of waves and storm winds. Yet even in the midst of that seeming chaos, I was still upon the boat of your life. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. As written in Isaiah 43:2, I have never stood far away watching you struggle alone. I have always been near, so near that even when you believed you were about to sink, my hand was already there holding you steady. You have tasted a peace that the world cannot explain, not a peace that comes because every problem has been solved instantly, but a deep rest that rises within your soul when you know I am still holding the helm. There are days when the sea of life still rages and circumstances remain unchanged, yet your heart slowly becomes calm like a lake after a fierce wind. That is not your own strength. It is my presence covering your mind like a cloak of peace. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. As written in John 14:27, my peace does not depend on whether the sea is calm or not. It comes from knowing that your captain never removes his hands from the wheel. Remember Peter on the night he stepped onto the water. As long as his eyes remained fixed on me, the waves could not pull him under. But the moment he focused on the storm, fear began dragging him down. My beloved child, I know there have been moments when you were the same, your heart shaken because you looked too long at the fierce winds surrounding you. Yet, I never rebuked Peter for his weakness. I immediately reached out and took hold of him, and I have done the same for you many times. There were moments when you thought you had reached your limit, yet somehow an inexplicable peace, a small spark of hope, or a gentle strength lifted you back to your feet. That was me. I have always been there, Now you understand that what you truly need is not a life without storms, but the presence of the one who never abandons you in the middle of them. The world often thinks victory means avoiding every trial, but I am teaching you something deeper. True victory is when the storm passes through your life, yet still cannot steal the light from your soul. My beloved child, the most beautiful thing is not that you have never trembled in fear, but that after everything, you are still standing here with a heart that trusts me more than before. And I rejoice to see the quiet things growing within you. There are acts of kindness you do that no one else knows about. There are prayers you lift up when no one reminds you to pray. There are times you choose faithfulness even without applause or recognition. But my beloved child, heaven has seen it all. Nothing born from love is meaningless in my sight. Your Father, who sees in secret, will reward you. As written in Matthew 6:6, I treasure those hidden things far more than outward displays that lack sincerity. Remember the poor widow who offered 2 small coins in the temple. To the world, her gift may have seemed insignificant, but I saw the heart behind the offering. In the same way, many things you consider small are becoming great treasures in my eyes. A gentle word when you could have responded with bitterness. Forgiveness when your heart had every reason to remain wounded. A prayer spoken for someone else late in the night. A quiet act of kindness done without needing recognition. These are the things building a strong foundation within your soul. You are beginning to understand that spiritual growth does not come through one dramatic moment alone. It is formed through thousands of times you choose what is right in the smallest things. Every time you continue trusting, even when results have not appeared, your heart grows a little stronger. Every time you preserve gentleness under pressure, your soul grows a little deeper. And because you have been shaped through small daily trials, you no longer panic the way you once did when facing greater storms. My beloved child, I see steadfastness growing within you like a tree whose roots have sunk deep after many seasons of rain and sunlight. In the past, one strong wind could shake your heart for a long time. But now, even though the waves still rise, you have learned how to stand still within me. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be shaken but endures forever. As written in Psalm 125:1, this is what I am making. Your soul becomes steadfast yet not hardened, gentle yet not easily broken. And just as a patient father delights in watching his child mature step by step, I rejoice to see you becoming gentler, more resilient, and more peaceful, not because you have become perfect, but because you have learned how to remain in me through every season of life. I do not need you to become strong in the way the world defines strength. I simply want you to continue holding my hand and walking day by day with a soft and faithful heart. So today, my beloved child, continue walking in the peace you have learned in the middle of storms. Continue doing good even when no one notices. Continue praying even when clear answers have not yet appeared. And continue trusting me, because it is within those quiet and hidden things that I am writing an enduring story of triumph over your life. The story of a soul that passed through storms, yet still preserved its light, its love, and its hope that never fades.